guys, Mel here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all around MS, socialising and me. So just talking a little bit about relationships and how my friendships work in terms of some of my MS symptoms. Things to look out for, tips and tricks for you guys, anyone who might be interested in learning about MS or who has friends with MS who are newly diagnosed themselves. So we've had couple of great friends of mine come around today. They've done my hair and makeup, looking more fabulous than last time. Really sorry about that. So let's get on and talk about MS and socialising. So I want to talk a bit about people's perceptions of people with MS. And this has been a really interesting one for me, just thinking about my family and my friends and how they view people with MS and how the disease works, really. Because when you first are diagnosed, it can be really scary. Lots of things you see are around people in a wheelchair and people with speech difficulties, memory issues, and all of those things may be true for some of us, but they're not true for all of us. And we really have to think about how we treat people with MS. And as an MSA ourselves, we have to think about how we can not improve the reputation, but kind of explain to people where we're coming from and how they can help us in our relationships. So I'd like to talk a bit about MS being an invisible illness. Unlike my cat Daisy, who you can see the ears of in the corner of the screen. Sorry about that. So, invisible illness. Unlike lots of things where, if you've physically broken a bone or if you've got cancer and you had chemotherapy and you've lost your hair, those kinds of things, or someone who has another illness where it's really obvious physically that they're sick, that almost for socialisation and friendships and relationships can be easier in some ways to deal with, because people know there's something wrong with you, and so they can make allowances for that should they need to, or should you want them to. But with MS and lots of other conditions, like diabetes for one, my wife has diabetes and that's another invisible thing. You don't know until they are willing to tell you about the illness and about the symptoms that you experience. That invisible aspect of having MS can be a struggle for me, who has it, and for my friends as well, because they don't always understand why I might cancel at the last minute, why I am stumbling over my words. They may think I'm drunk. I may be drunk, but I also may just be living and struggling with my speech a bit. So what I wanted to do was just lay that down. It is an invisible illness. Bear that in mind. Don't be hard on yourself. And talk to your friends up front. I'm going to get my girls in now and we'll have a chat with them about these things. So, here we have my two mates who have joined me to chat about MS and socialisation and relationships and friends, family, that kind of thing. We have Emily and we have Lillian.
Hi.
Hey. So, what I'm going to do, first of all, is give you an example of how not to deal with your MS symptoms and friends. So this is a story that I've saved for this moment, so I can look like a proper fool in front of my friends, which they'll appreciate.
So we don't even know the story.
We never heard it before.
You don't know the story.
So
when I was first dating my wife, Hayley, we were in London and she set up a really nice experience for me. You know Somerset House in London? It's like a proper old-fashioned... beautiful place. They had like an ice rink there, okay. And they had a Tiffany & Co. ice skating experience. And so, you're on a date, it's your first sort of few months with your new person. She says, would you like to go to the Diamond event in London? And it'll be wonderful. She didn't mention the skating.
Oh, okay.
So one of the things with MS that you should know is that lack of sensory feeling can be one of the symptoms. So I had and still have no feeling in my feet. It's hard to explain. I can walk, but I have limited sensation. So it's like I'm wearing a blanket over my feet, and like you're touching me through a blanket kind of thing. It's a very strange experience. So, but that kind of means that if someone is to book you into an ice skating experience, as much as that's romantic and lovely, I can't feel my feet, and you're taking me to the ice. First of all, I get there and think, oh my God, I absolutely hate ice skating anyway. So that was a nightmare. Then she pulls me onto the ice after putting my shoes on me, and my feet, which were really numb and couldn't feel the floor anyway, now are on ice. Awesome. Nightmare. My fault, I hadn't discussed it. And then I find out she used to be like a skater when she was a teenager, and she comes on the ice.
I didn't know that.
I know.
What?
And goes, shoop. I'm like, no way. Oh my god. So she's like, really good at skating, and I'm one step, because with the lack of feeling, that's what affects your walking. And so.
But when you're walking on ice.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't affect you.
It's worse. It's worse. So she pulled me round. I got hold of the side eventually, and I was going like this to round the side to where there was a bar full of people looking at me and laughing their heads off because I looked so uncomfortable. I remember mouthing to them, I hate this. And the bar was in uproar. They were laughing. I then slipped on my bum. It's just... And poor Hayley felt so awful because I hadn't communicated to her the difficulties I had in my life. And actually, I was getting used to them myself, I suppose. You know what I mean? So, but for her, can you imagine you give someone this wonderful experience?
They took you to two for and Co. I'm sorry,
I know.
That sounds
lovely.
That sounds incredible.
And by the way, if Tiffany and Co want to sponsor this video and this channel, feel free. Just forget about the ice skating incident. But yeah, so that's a good example, I think, of how it's really important to talk to your friends and family about how you're feeling and your symptoms. And it's true of everyone with any condition. So in terms of people with MS, well, before you knew me or anyone else that you know with it, what is your kind of idea of it? What does that look like?
I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah, I didn't really know much about it, to be honest.
I was absolutely like, when someone would say, I got MS, and I'd be like, I was mute because I didn't even know what it was. And it's quite embarrassing because it's quite a common thing for people to get, and it's so because it's all of a sudden as well.
Yes.
So you're never ready to get like that. When you get like a flu, you get like some symptoms over it. But for MS, I think it's just straightforward. Yeah. And before meeting you, I did not have a clue what it was.
My common view, I think, is that people see you in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And that's not true necessarily for everyone. Everyone's disease takes a different course. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. What's kind of what does a person with MS look like to you?
I feel like people think that.
No.
I just feel like people think that it's maybe someone who
is older.
I think you should male kind of thing in a wheelchair, very ill, very poorly. Oh my god, they can't even walk anymore.
Yeah. But
it not necessarily has to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because we know someone else who also has MS, and she's fine. But then you can see as well with the age, how can that actually vary so much?
Yeah.
So I was asking you the other day, the other night, I was like, is she with the same kind of illness that you have?
Yeah.
And you're like, yes.
Yeah.
But you can see someone who's way worse.
Yeah.
And someone who's way better.
Yeah, it's a very variable condition, and that's the thing to remember about it.
Yeah, so it's just very weird, especially because I think I started feeling more about you having MS was when last year, no, not the last year, but the year before, we were taking care of your house when you guys went away to Tenerife. Yeah. And that was fantastic.
Oh gosh, yes.
I love staying in this house. It feels like holiday all the time. But I remember you guys calling us just because Joy just went.
Yes, optic neuritis, my last relapse.
Mm-hmm. And it was so concerning. We were obviously saying if you need to stay there longer, we would take care of your house. Don't worry about it. But when you came back, and it was just before Christmas, and we saw you, and that's probably the first time that I thought gosh, this is serious. This is a serious thing that, as you said before, might not be a broken foot.
Yeah. But
you had MS before, and I did not really think over it so much until I saw you, and I was just like,
yeah,
she is sick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and absolutely, and that's the thing with any condition, but MS particularly, my kind is relapsing remitting, so you have a relapse, a flare with a new symptom, and you experience that and deal with it, and then that remits and calms down. And over your life, you have these happen. So it's an up and down, inconsistent illness. But this last one was one after 15 years. So I had 15 years of relatively good health, which is kind of weird.
And that's probably why I didn't really realize about it.
No.
Until obviously saw you, and you, bless you, it was so. We took it so serious. Me and the boyfriend at the time, I was just like.
Yeah, it was a big.
It was
shock,
really shock. It was a really big
Yeah.
shock because for me, seeing you, obviously, knowing that you have a mess, but then thinking oh well, it's fine, she's good, and then suddenly just seeing you sick. It was well, she had this before, and then I said,
you kind of forget about it.
I felt really bad because I was like, I will never think about it twice.
No. And that's the nature of it. Yeah, that's the nature of it. But Daisy's joining in the girly chat. Yes, that's right, Daisy. This is one for the bloopers, I feel. She has a lot to say about MS, apparently. But it's one of those things. It's a fluctuating illness. Although there are 4 different types of MS. I have relapsing remitting.
But what I think is very important for people to understand as well is just MS is not it's not the kind of illness that you can deal with just like that.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that because people will expect you to be exactly like we are right now. Mm-hmm. But when you can feel your feet, when you can walk properly, when you struggle to talk, when you forget stuff, and you try to cope doing that, having your job, doing your normal life, going out, coming back, doing everything, and then your friends are just like, why do you look so off today?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That must be so tiring.
It is, yeah.
For someone who has literally an illness that you can't see.
Yeah.
If you had a broken arm, everyone would be like, oh my God, get better.
Exactly.
Take care, don't worry, do you need anything? Do you want us to do this, do that? You can't see it, so you're just like, why is Mel just looking off tonight?
So we've had to include Daisy Webb, I'm afraid, because she was getting a bit jealous of the girly chat. So she has joined us. Animals are great, by the way, for being companions and stress relievers. They are a great relationship to have. So we appreciate that. And they appreciate her.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So nice.
She is lovely.
She is.
I don't have a mess, but I will do with her.
She can
be
be
my companion.
She can be your companion. But so I think basically, talk to your friends. They're your friends for a reason. They love you and they want to be with you. And anything that you can tell them about how you're feeling and be honest about it is only going to make things easier. If they want to go out clubbing. I mean, they do. I'm far too old for that now. But even if I was to do that, we could totally do that. But you just would have to understand that I would need to sit down,
of course,
partway through the evening and things, and that's down to me as well. It's not just down to people to understand me. I have to explain myself, and not be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. It's life.
Never be embarrassed about who you are.
Absolutely.
Never.
High five.
Never.
High five, High five, Daisy. High five. She don't want a high five. So that is girl time with the cats, I'm afraid.
Yes.
But this is what friendship is all about. You tailor your life to your means and how you are and how you can be.
And if people don't understand you, then you need to get some new friends.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is your life at the end of the day, and friends are there to support, and to help.
And such good friends.
Always.
Such good friends. I love you guys.
I love you.
Looking at the microphone.
Fantastic.
So, let's do that again. I'm so nervous.
Two letters into the video. So,